Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to give just a moment to clear the waiting room. And as a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are providing testimony before the board. Still have folks trickling in from the waiting room. We'll give just another moment. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Thank you, Danny. Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Licensing Board. Today, we are also joined by Commissioner Kiana Saxon and Commissioner Liam Curran.
Thank you. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly if you plan to provide testimony. I will call each item in the order that it appears on this morning's agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the licensee, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department, and whether there are any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify. I will then swear in all parties. After that, the police report will be read into the record, and the licensee or their representative will have the opportunity to make a brief statement, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. All testimony will be limited only to those individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident. Beginning with the first item on this morning's agenda, calling item number 1, Summers 5 Corp. Doing business as Dirty Nellies, located at 108 to 112 Blackstone Street. Date of the incident of July 28th, 2024. Assault and battery with a dangerous weapon is shod foot, employee on patron, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 15A, and failure to call 911 in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.14b. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? Is there anybody with us currently on behalf of Dirty Nellies?
I see, I think I see them. I see Noelle Summers, but she's on mute.
I do see Noelle. Noelle, are you with us and able to testify currently? If not, we will have to take a second call.
Sorry, I'm just having some technical difficulties with the Zoom. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, and I've just asked you to start your video.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us. You can please just identify yourself.
Noelle Summers with Dirty Nellies.
Thank you very much. And do you have anybody else with you on behalf of Dirty Nellies today, or is it just you?
No, it's just me.
Great. Thank you. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police?
Detective James Walsh.
Thank you, Detective Walsh. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Thank you. Can you both please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much, Detective Walsh. If you could please read the police report into the record for the board.
Thank you. About 3:15 p.m. on August 2nd, 2024, Officer Lynch, assigned to the Harry Delta 96, took a walk-in report for an assault and battery at 108 Blackstone Street, Boston. The victim, Robert Levesque, stated he went out to a bar called Dirty Nellies on July 28, 2024 at approximately 7:40 p.m. The victim stated that while he was at the bar, the bartender named Jimmy began arguing with the victim, stating he was heavily intoxicated. The victim stated that he said to the bartender, quote, "Punch me in the face," end quote, to which the bartender did, resulting the victim to leave the bar. The victim stated that while he was outside, the bartender then kicked the victim in the face while he was down on the ground. The victim did not call the police or EMTs to the scene, but instead went home to sleep. The victim stated he went to the hospital in the days following, and Dr. Chris Shestack at Milton Hospital confirmed the victim had a broken jaw. It should be noted that the victim stated he later found out that Jimmy, the bartender, was also fired that night due to being intoxicated on the job. The victim was advised to recontact the police if necessary. And next is a supplemental report. On August 8th, 2024, about 4:30 hours, Detective Walsh and Hurld responded to 108 Blackstone Street, Boston, Dirty Nellies, and issued a licensed premise inspection notice number 37854 to owner Christine Higgins for employee on patron assault and battery, dangerous weapon, shod foot, and failure to call 911. Ms. Higgins signed and accepted the violation. Ms. Higgins also showed video of the incident to detectives. Upon review, the video depicted bartender James Norton, date of birth January 29th, 2002, punched the victim, Robert Levesque, with a closed fist from behind the bar. Further depicted was the victim fall down outside the entrance of the establishment, with Norton following. Norton then kicks the victim in the head area. The victim reported he suffered a broken jaw from the incident. Ms. Higgins indicated that no one called 911 from the establishment following the incident. Detective Walsh requested the video be sent to him via email or loaded onto a USB drive for evidence. Detective Walsh spoke with John Downs, a witness who was with the victim, and stated he witnessed the victim get punched and kicked in the head area by the bartender. That's all.
Thank you, Detective Walsh. Ms. Summers, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, we were made aware of the incident after the fact, about an hour after it had happened, from a patron going to our other establishment and letting a manager know there as well. We immediately let Jimmy go, made him vacate the premise, and he was immediately fired. From looking at the tapes he was accusing, it seemed like he was saying that the patron couldn't drink anymore. The patron hit him from across the bar first, then he hit him back. They went outside, and a fight ensued. His friends also punched and hit Jimmy. But Jimmy was our bar manager. He was a trusted employee of ours. He had been with us for over a year, also a family friend, and had a lot of trust from us. And upon hearing about what had occurred, we immediately fired him. We did not call the police because they had already left. We didn't think that the patron was injured because he had left on his own accord, got up and walked away.
Thank you. Anything further before we move to questions from the board? Okay, we'll see if there are any questions at this time, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. How long did this bartender work for you?
He's worked for us for over a year.
Okay. And it appeared
without any incident.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about the reports that he was on the job and intoxicated? Did you talk to him about that, or anyone else who was working that night?
We did. So when a patron had gone to our bar manager in the Green Dragon, he went over and he said that Jimmy did seem as if he had been drinking, and we immediately took him off the bar. We actually closed the Green Dragon and brought our staff over to Dirty Nellies to get Jimmy out.
I see. So someone at one of your other establishments went over to Dirty Nellies to help assist remove
the situation.
Okay.
Yeah. We were called as well immediately. We reviewed the videos. We called him. He's also a family friend, so we also called his family.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Saxon and Commissioner Carn.
What was the other staffing at the premises that evening?
So our doormen come in around 8:30 or 9, so it was just Jimmy. It's a 26 capacity bar, so we have a bartender / manager for nights.
No questions for me right now. Thank you.
Anything further from the board on this matter?
You've handed in the videotape?
Yes, we did. Well, to the police. I haven't to the board. I can do that.
There is a video clip in the folder that was provided to us from the police. Thank you. If there are no further questions, then the board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 2 was Zaz Restaurant and Catering Corporation located at 1238 River Street in Hyde Park. Date of the incident, August 18th, 2024. Open after 9:30 p.m. per the common victualler closing hour in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
The owner, Chef Ollie Roberts, Chef O.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Roberts, Chef O, for being with us. Is there anybody else on behalf of Zaz or just you this morning?
Just me.
Great, thank you. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Michael Sullivan, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant Sullivan. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Thank you. Can you both please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Sergeant Sullivan, if you could please read the police report into the record for the board.
Yes, sir. Thank you. About 1:45 a.m. on Sunday, 8/18/24, Sergeant Sullivan, it's myself, the Lima 905 responded to 1240 River Street, a licensed premise establishment called Zaz. Upon pulling up on location, Sergeant Sullivan could hear loud music coming from inside the 1240 River Street Zaz. Sergeant Sullivan spoke with officers Clement and DeCosta in the Lima 101, who stated they were dispatched to a loud music call by a 911 caller at Mape and Oak Street. Upon arrival, officers could hear the loud music was coming from the rear of the Zaz restaurant, 1240 River Street. Sergeant Sullivan spoke to Oriel Roberts, who stated that the music was coming from a speaker placed outside by a DJ and had since been turned off. However, Sergeant Sullivan could still hear loud music from the sidewalk in front of 1240 River Street coming from inside Zaz. In response to a direct question, Mr. Roberts stated that this establishment closes at 2 a.m. Sergeant Sullivan asked Mr. Roberts if he could see his licensed premise licenses. Mr. Roberts took Sergeant Sullivan to a glass display. However, a liquor license or an entertainment license were not inside. Mr. Roberts stated that he does have these, but not on the premise. Zaz will be issued licensed premise inspection notice 071255 for failure to post license, excessive noise affecting neighborhood, and music emanating beyond licensed premise door. Once the license numbers are provided and a supplemental report will be written, Mr. Roberts cooperated completely with Sergeant Sullivan and the other officers. Thank you.
Thank you. Looks like we have a supplemental from Detective Peterson. You have not been sworn in yet. If you could please just identify yourself for the board. Oh, sorry, you're on mute currently. Oh, still on mute. Oh, and something should have popped up on your screen. I've asked you to unmute. Doesn't seem like we are going to be able to hear from Detective Peterson. Lieutenant Troy, do you have a copy of this?
We'll have a copy. I'm not sworn.
Great, thank you. Can you please raise your right hand?
Sure.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I don't.
Thank you very much.
This is a supplemental report written by Detective Todd Peterson. It reads as follows. It's at approximately 14:08 hours on Thursday, August 22nd, 2024, Lieutenant Detective Leary and Detective Todd Peterson conducted a code 35 at 12:38 to 12:40 River Street, Hyde Park, the Zaz Restaurant and Catering. Zaz was issued a citation number 39236 from an August 18 incident where the business was open beyond its 9:30 closing time. A copy of the citation was left with Z. Roberts at the restaurant. That's the extent of that report.
Thank you very much. Mr. Roberts, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, my name is Audrey Roberts, owner of Zaz, Zaz brand, and I've obliged to I met with the officers that night after they arrived. We had a private event after my festival, and definitely was a misjudgment in terms of we decided to invite some of the vendors and people that were part of the festival, and we came in and we were just having a celebratory moment. I assured the officers that we obliged by the music situation. We shut the music off. Once I was spoken with the officers, I tried to comply and did everything necessary to make sure that we were in a good standing at the moment. After the officers left, I decided to shut it down. I did not say we are the posting of the license and all the other stuff that broke, and so we didn't replace that in time for the event. So there was just like the perfect storm of going bad. So we definitely I told him whatever needed to happen, I'll take care of it. I'm here to hearing today to make sure that everything is okay and that we don't have any issues moving forward. So everything is in the works. On my team and I been doing a job of making sure that we clear everything up on our side and making sure that we in good standing with you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We'll see if there are any questions from the board. Chairwoman Joyce.
I do. You've been open to this location since 2015 with a 9:30 closing time. What made you think you could have an extended closing time without permission from the board?
So, I mean, there was, again, lapse in judgment, I believe, at the time. The closing time, I didn't even remember. When I signed off, when the team told me that they wanted to do like a celebratory time, I didn't think of the closing time. So it was a total lapse of judgment on my part.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. And then whoever was on premise when the police showed up, they were dishonest with the police at the time. We've been working with you to try to get your hours extended. This is a simple process that you should have started a long time ago. We got complaints, you advertised this. So we're trying to work with you, and we'd like you to work with us too. So we want to do this the right way, not just hope you don't get caught.
Yeah.
So I have no questions. It just astounds me when this happens and you've been open for almost 10 years.
Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
Yeah, I have nothing to add. Thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. The board will take this under advisement as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 3, ZAA KFL LLC, doing business as Biliaris Columbia, located at 28 Bennington Street in East Boston. Date of the incident, April 28th, 2024. Fight in violation of laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? Oh, you are on mute.
Good morning, Felipe Áñez.
Good morning. And Laura Ferraro.
Oh, damn.
Thank you. Who's present on behalf? Thank you, Mr. Branias, Ms. Branias.
I'm Detective James.
Detective James.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with first-hand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank
I
you.
do.
Detective James, if you could please proceed with the police report for the board.
About 2:15 p.m. on Sunday, April 28th, officers assigned to the front desk of District Area A7 took a walk-in report for past assault and battery, dangerous weapon. Officer Emma Morados did Spanish translation for the incident. Vincent Jesus Galeago Jimenez reports that while drinking at 28 Bennington Belardes, about 1:00 a.m. on this day, he was hit with a flashlight in the face under his right eye. We report that he went to East Boston Neighborhood Health Center and was diagnosed with a fractured orbital bone. Victim reports that he was with his girlfriend, Natalia Bedoya, and a friend named Ernesto when an argument with the bar security ensued. Victim reported that he was asked to leave and told the staff he would not pay his bill due to them throwing him out. Victim reports that he went to retrieve his property in the bar and a security guard hit him in the face with a flashlight. Reports that the owner of the bar, which he and his girlfriend named Fernie, arrived on scene and instructed them not to call the police from the bar. Victim's correct suspect is a 6', 200-pound, muscular-built, Dominican dark-skinned Hispanic wearing black security clothing. Unit supervisor notified victim produced medical paper for injuries. The Gold 818 Detective Holden and Gold 817 Detective O'Brien took photographs of the injuries. On 4:00 on April 30, 24, Detective Jane Dixexpino went to 28 Bennington C. Belardes, Colombia, to try and meet the security guard involved in the incident. He was not at that location. Detective Jane wrote a Code 35 citation for the fight, which took place on April 28. Citation number 060009 written. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pianes. Ms. Pianes, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Good morning, members of the board. I would like to address the officer. Officer James, how are you? Is it true that after the incident happened, I went to the police station a couple of times to bring you the video to show you what had happened, and we saw the video and saw that there was a group of people gathered. The guy told him, "Can you move to the side?" Because the people are walking by, and they all tried to hit him. There was probably 3 or 4, and all he tried to do was defend himself.
I saw on the video that what appeared to be the victim punched the security guard, and then the security guard brought up his flashlight. It did not show exactly when he hit him, but we saw, because the flashlight was on, the flashlight coming up. That's what I saw.
Yes, just for the members of the board. Thank you, Officer James. Just for the members of the board, the victim was being very rude. The security, all he told him was, "Can you please move?" And they punched him. We showed the video. All you can see is he's trying to defend himself, but he doesn't hit him with the flashlight. He moves him on the side. I did get a chance to talk to the victim, the alleged victim, and I asked him, "What's the problem?" And all he said was, "Oh, just bring him outside. We want to fight with him." I said, "I can't do that." There was 2 officers outside because this was at the end of the night. The officers asked him, "Do you want to press charges? You want to do something?" And they said, "No, we're going home." After the incident, I guess they went to the hospital or they went to the police here. But I did help with the police. I did give them the video. I did show everything. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Then we will see if there are any questions at this time. Chairman Joyce, any questions?
Can we get a copy of the video if it's still available?
Yeah, the officer has it, yes.
I have no other
I could
questions.
send a copy.
Lieutenant Detective Troy, I believe I sent that video to you. If I didn't, I'm looking at it right now, but I can forward it to you again.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't believe we have video of this incident. We have videos of other incidents at this location.
I have no other questions, commissioners.
I'll wait for the video, thanks.
Thank you
No
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. As soon as we receive the video, I will make sure that it is shared with the commissioners, and with that, the board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 4, Restaurante Cesaria
Thank
Inc.,
you.
located at 266 Bowden Street in Dorchester. Date of the incident, June 28th, 2024. Large fight, affray involving patrons outside the premises in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who's present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning, Antonio Barros, co-owner, Restaurant Cesaria, and Alex Gomes, manager on duty on the night of the incident.
Thank you. Who's present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective Paul Donlin.
Officer Matthew Vrabel.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
We
I
do. I do.
Thank you. Who will be reading the police report into the record?
I can. Officer Vrabel.
Thank you. If you could please proceed.
About 1:20 a.m. on Friday, June 28th, 2024, Officer Vrabel and Pina to District C11 Anti-Crime Unit, Harry K1, made multiple on-site arrests at 266 Bowden Street, Dorchester. Officer Vrabel and Pina were operating a black unmarked Ford Explorer. Though unmarked, the cruiser is equipped with multiple antennas, visible emergency lights, and a mobile data terminal, MDT, located in the center of the vehicle, making it easily identifiable as a police vehicle. Officer DePina was seated in the driver's seat, and Officer Vrabel was seated in the passenger seat. Both officers were wearing ballistic vests with Boston Police patches front and back. Officers had their badges and body-worn cameras displayed on their outermost garments. Officers were driving on Bowden Street towards Hamilton Street. Officer DePina in the Harry 435 Alpha was directly behind Harry K1 Alpha, and the Bravo K1 Alpha was one car ahead. Officers observed more than 200 people outside of Cesaria restaurant on the street and sidewalks, halfway in cars, playing music loudly and creating traffic jams. Officers waited about 3 minutes before activating the emergency lights and sirens and driving in the opposite lane of traffic to investigate why traffic was not flowing. Upon approaching Hamilton Street on Bowden Street, officers observed a large crowd fighting in the middle of the street. All officers exited their vehicles to break up the multiple fights throughout the crowd. While on scene, Officer DePina and the Harry 435 Alpha observed multiple people standing in the middle of the street, yelling and blocking the road. The officer observed Alessandro Tavares striking an unknown victim in the face with a closed fist. Officer DePina placed Tavares in handcuffs without incident and placed him in BPD Cruiser 1534 and transported him back to C11 to be booked in the usual manner. Officers were unable to identify the unknown male involved in the altercation with Tavares. While attempting to break up fights and disperse the crowd, Officer Lima and the Harry 103 Alpha observed Delaney Ferreira refused to listen to multiple officers' commands to go home. Officer Mitchell and the Harry 104 Alpha observed Ferreira grab Officer Madden by the arm and two-hand shove Officer Mitchell in the chest. Instead of walking away, Ferreira attempted to swing and punch Officer Lima in the face and then push Officer Lima. Officer Lima was able to restrain Ferreira, and while restraining Ferreira, Ferreira began pulling Officer Lima's hair. Officers gave multiple verbal commands for Ferreira to let go of Officer Lima's hair. Officer Lima was able to use tactics trained at the Boston Police Academy and bring Ferreira down to the ground to effect an arrest. Ferreira was placed under arrest without further incident. Delaney Ferreira was transported back to C11 by the Harry 102 Donlin and Patterson to be booked in the usual manner. Officers Vrabel and Pina, after breaking up the main fight, observed Edmilson Fernandez becoming increasingly agitated that someone in the crowd kicked his car. Officers advised Fernandez multiple times to leave the area due to the volatile situation. Throughout the incident, Fernandez kept antagonizing the crowd trying to fight people refusing to comply with officers' commands to leave the area. Officers observed Fernandez strike an unknown male multiple times with a closed fist and was struck by the unknown male with a closed fist multiple times. Officers attempted to place Fernandez in handcuffs to effect an arrest. Fernandez actively resisting by refusing to place his hands behind his back and pushing off a car, refusing officers' commands. Officers were eventually able to place Fernandez in handcuffs without further incident. Officers were unable to identify the unknown male involved in the altercation with Fernandez. Fernandez was transported to District C11 by the Harry 103, Cook and Lima, to be booked in the usual manner. 266 Bowden Street is Restaurante Cesaria. It should be noted that there's been an ongoing issue with Cesaria hosting people until 2 a.m. every Thursday night. C11 officers have responded multiple times throughout the year for fights outside the restaurant. When it closes, patrons usually spend time after the restaurant closes on the street, blocking traffic and playing loud music. Multiple units from Boston Police Districts 2, 3, and 6 responded to assist. Mass State Police also responded to the scene. At 2 a.m., C11 Patrol Supervisor Fox 982 Sergeant Detective Donlin entered Restaurante Cesaria. Sergeant Detective Donlin issued Alex Gomes, manager of Restaurante Cesaria, license premise citation number 026993 for a large fight involving patrons outside the premises affray. Alex Gomes accepted and signed for the violation. Alessandro Tavares will be charged with the following out of Dorchester District Court, MGL Chapter 275, Section 14 affray, MGL Chapter 272, Section 53, disturbing the peace, MGL Chapter 272, Section 53, disorderly conduct. Delaney Ferreira will be charged out for the following out of Dorchester District Court, MGL Chapter 275, Section 14 affray, MGL Chapter 272, Section 53, disturbing the peace, MGL Chapter 272, Section 53, disorderly conduct, MGL Chapter 265, Section 13D, assault and battery on a police officer. And Milson Fernandez will be charged for the following out of Dorchester District Court, MGL Chapter 275, Section 14 affray, MGL Chapter 272, Section 53, disturbing the peace, MGL Chapter 272, Section 53, disorderly conduct, MGL Chapter 268, Section 32B, resisting arrest. 41 cameras activated, and a copy of the report was forwarded to District C11 CSO.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barros. Mr. Gomes, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. The reports of Cesaria hosting people until 2 a.m. Is I'm not sure where that came from. We end our nights at 1 a.m. and we immediately disperse folks, patrons from in front of the restaurant and make sure they go to their cars. And we also announce to also not turn on their music outside while they're in their cars. We do our best to disperse folks from outside the restaurant and the parking lots. We did notice folks are parking across the street further down, about a block down at the dollar store, which has since been roped off. So folks can't park there anymore. During that night, I know after we reached capacity, there was a gentleman across the street selling food from his vehicle. I noticed and approached them and told him he's not allowed to do that. He complied and left. Not sure if he parked somewhere else, which kept people from going, leaving the surrounding areas. But we had no issues during the night. We had no issues in front of the restaurant. The altercation took place at the corner of Baldwin and Hamilton, several businesses down from Cesaria. I believe it was between a gentleman that was in his car or someone who was in their car and someone who was walking by, and that's how everything started. And Manager Alex didn't witness the altercation starting while he was walking home. He let the police handle the situation, and then he was called back to return to the restaurant to sign the citation.
Thank you. Anything further before we move to questions from the board? Thank you. Are there any questions, starting with Chairwoman Joyce?
Thank you. One question, let me just see. So I'm looking at the docket sheet, and we have docketed from 2022 that we requested an updated dispersal plan from your team, and I don't believe we've received that to date. So if you could get us an updated dispersal plan, which would include things like your staffing model on nights like this, how many people are working the door, what time people leave, do staff go outside and try to move them along? We need to see that in writing and have it on file with the board so that we can review it, or we can refer to it should another violation similar to this come up. So that being said, we don't have that in front of us, so I'd like you to talk me through what your dispersal plan is on a night like this. This was a Thursday night?
Correct.
So let me know what happens on Thursday nights as far as your staffing model, your security team, how many people are working, and what time the music gets shut off, and what you do as far as getting people to leave the area at the end of the night.
We generally end the music about 10 minutes before the closing time and start dispersing patrons. We have we have a rear door with 2 security at the door, and in the front door we have 4. And as people leave the premises, we immediately disperse them from hanging in front of the restaurant. As followed, usually we follow them to the parking lot to make sure people get in their cars. And it's just the municipal parking lot to the side of the building is in front of our parking lot. So sometimes it just takes several minutes for folks to go from one parking lot through the other parking lot and exiting Baldwin Street. And then there's a light about 2 business down from the municipal parking lot. So if the light is red, it only allows a few cars at a time to go through, and that slows down the exiting process from the parking lot. Also, people walking across from the parking lot. So we do our best to try to facilitate traffic and keep people from blocking and double parking.
What time do you close on Thursdays?
1 a.m.
Okay. And this report was written at 1:20. So you have 4 security at the front door that help disperse patrons?
Yes.
And then 1 person goes to the back, okay. I'd like to request again that you submit a written security and operations plan. I'd like that as soon as possible, but if we don't have it within a week, this could also turn into a violation if we don't have that plan on file.
Yes.
I'm gonna turn it over to Commissioner Saxon and Commissioner Carn for questions.
Did you have everyone out by 1 a.m.?
Yeah, we generally by 1:05 or so, with the DJ and folks that don't work. We were out, the staff from the restaurant itself. We were done cleaning the restaurant by 1:20 or so, when the police said they were trying to access the restaurant. No one was here. We had already done cleaning and setting up for the next day. So it wasn't a difficult process trying to get people out. It's just, like I said, I think folks that could not get in that night hung around, and it looked like there was a lot of people that was attending the night, but it was just a normal night for us.
If you can just reiterate, how far do you guys move up? Like your doorman, do you just, when you're dispersing, do you just use?
We all the way down to the municipal area. It's past One Family Diner, and then the municipal parking lot. We try to get everyone past that. We've been attending, I'm a member of the Bowdoin Geneva Main Streets organization, attending safety meetings, addressing issues not only at night, but during the day, with folks hanging around, people selling food outside, trying to work with businesses as much as possible to try to quiet things down in the area.
So I have one more question. It sounds like, based on your testimony, that there were people that were not admitted that night, and they were lingering outside.
Not lingering. We didn't see anyone. They might have been in their cars, not lingering in the area. They might have been in their cars just waiting, but we didn't see people at all lingering in the area.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Commissioner Carr and Commissioner Saxon, any further questions on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 5, Concord Entertainment, Inc., doing business as Bill's Bar, the Lansdowne Pub, located at 9 Lansdowne Street. Date of the incident, July 20th, 2024. Patron on employee assault and battery in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section A. And employee on patron assault and battery in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning, Attorney Green. This is Dennis Quilty, attorney representing the licensee. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. With me this morning, Nelson Burns, Terrell Bradshaw, Wayne Miller, and Katina Corapines from the Lions Group Management. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I see Mr. Burns and Ms. Corapines. I don't believe I see the other two on my screen.
I'm here. Miller's here. I'm just trying to get my camera on.
Oh, great. All right. Thank you. Yep, I see Mr. Bradshaw and Mr. Miller. So if you could turn, great, and your cameras are on. Perfect. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning. All. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective Wallace, I saw him here. Oh, he's right there.
Oh, I see Detective Wallace and staff. You're on mute.
Detective, can you hear me now? Detective Wallace.
Great. Thank you, Detective, for being with us. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I do.
Thank you all. Detective Wallace, if you could please proceed with the police report for the board.
On July 24th, 2024, Officer O'Donnell, while assigned to the front desk at District 4, took a walk-in A and B report from Mr. Zane Atwood. Victim stated he was inside of Bill's Bar located at 5 Lansdowne Street on Saturday, 7/20/2024 at approximately 11:46 when he was assaulted by one of the staff. Victim, along with his girlfriend, Kelsey Gray, were among other people standing in the circle inside of the licensed premise when he was shoved from behind by one of the staff. Staff member was described as a black male, 5'8" to 5'10", heavy build, 350 plus pounds, wearing all black. Victim stated while sitting inside the premise, he was shoved from behind for no apparent reason. The victim said, "What the fuck?" and turned around and saw the suspect, who told him he had to leave. Victim asked why he had to leave, which he was not given an answer. Suspect then grabbed the victim by the shoulders and began to shove him, causing him to fall to the ground. When the victim exited the premise, the suspect punched him in the head twice. One punch hit the victim's left jaw area. The other punched landed in the left temple area. 911 call made from the bar came in as a fight removal. The victim stated that they never made mention of the assault by the staff member while officers were present on scene. Detective Wallace, Delta 823, was advised of the incident and attempted to do a code 35 inspection, but the license premise was closed. On 6:40 on Thursday, 6:40 p.m. on Thursday, July 25th, Detective Wallace and Detective Fencer premise violation notice 026515, violation of Bill's Bar, manager Nelson Burns at 5 Lansdowne Street. Violation was for patron on employee assault and battery, and employee on patron assault and battery.
Thank you very much. Attorney Quilty, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yeah, if I may, thank you, Attorney Green. Detective, the initial police report indicates a walk into a station some 4 days after the incident's alleged to have happened. Is that right?
That appears to be accurate, sir.
Okay. And then in addition, there is the license premise inspection notice, which suggests, and this is Detective Wallace, suggests that the police were called by staff. And that seems to be referenced on page 2 of 3, wherein the report suggests 911 call made from the bar. Does that all sound correct, that the call was made from the bar reporting the incident?
That's correct.
Okay. And then were you, sir, there? I understand there were officers present and there was body cam footage of this individual and then also of a staff member who had been struck and was bleeding and his shirt was ripped open. Were you involved in that?
I was not initially involved in that, but I did review it, and you are correct. I think it was Mr. Bradshaw. I had it. Looks like his shirt was torn in the body cam video.
And it would appear then that he was the victim of this assault.
Yes, that appeared why it looked like that's why the bar called 911 initially.
Okay, all right. All right, and then any further word on Mr. Atwood? Did he press charges or did anything happen with regard to him?
He did not. He stated that he did not want to pursue anything further.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Is it detective? I'm sorry. Is it detective?
That's correct, sir.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, sir. If I may, Mr. Burns, you signed for, I'm sorry, Mr. Burns, just identify yourself for the record. You've been sworn. You're muted, Nelson.
Oh, hang on. Something should have popped up on your screen. I just asked you to unmute. No, you're still on mute.
Still muted. Everybody's muted. Wayne Terrell.
Nelson might be having some problem unmuting his screen.
I'm also present though. I'm here also.
Okay, so Mr. Miller, perhaps we could go to you. Just identify yourself again you've been sworn. Just identify yourself, please.
My name is Wayne Miller, and I'm manager for Lansdowne Pub.
Okay, and on the night in question, did you actually place the 911 call?
Yes, it was me who called.
Okay, and you had, what had you seen that led you to make the 911 call?
I walked into Terrell actually being physically attacked and my security trying to assist him, and I walked in and seen Terrell's shirt ripped, his lip was busted, and he was visibly distraught and upset. So I've seen what was going on at the moment and just said I'm calling the cops because it was just a lot going on at the moment.
Okay. And then did you indeed have conversations with the BPD officers who then responded?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Did you cooperate with them?
Yes, sir, I did the entire time.
And to your knowledge, did Mr. Burns and Mr. Bradshaw cooperate with them as well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we did.
All right. Thank you. The board may have some questions for you.
Not a problem.
If I may just quickly introduce Mr. Bradshaw. Again, Mr. Bradshaw, if you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm here present.
Thank you. And you've also been sworn. Just identify yourself for the record.
Yep, my name's Terrell Bradshaw.
Okay. And are you, I'm sorry. Are you the person who was basically attacked by this patron?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you describe to the board what occurred, what happened?
I was making a lap through Bill's Bar. It was a pretty packed night. I had addressed a couple, a woman and a man. I had asked the woman to step away from the patron because, you know, the guy was pretty tall and the girl was pretty short, but it looked like he was leaning on her, but he was too intoxicated to be in the building. So I was trying to figure out whether if he was too intoxicated or if he was just, you know, in her ears, you know, whispering sweet nothings. I didn't know the difference. So when I asked her to step away, I don't know if he heard me saying, "Hey, can you stand up or can you step away?" But he started getting belligerent, like instantly. Like he said, "What the F?" He turned, he's like, "This is racist, da da da." And I'm like, "I'm just asking you to step away so that I can see if you're okay enough to be in the building." In the middle of that, his girlfriend gets upset. F this, F that. I don't know if it was right then when she threw the drink, or I really don't know them. But then I didn't touch them yet. I didn't make no physical contact yet. I said, "Hey, can I talk to you outside? I need to speak to both of you outside." Then they screamed, "Hey, this is racist, F this, F that, that's not fair." I'm like, "Hey, I just need to make sure he's okay to be inside," because that was my reason for taking the lap. Make sure there was no one in there that was too intoxicated, anyone that didn't need to be on the premises anymore. After that, she gets belligerent. I didn't make no physical contact yet. We have this thing where we put our hands behind the patron so we can, you know, motivate them in the direction of the door. So when I started doing that, the girlfriend throws the drink on me, and I don't remember who the security guard was, but there was another security guard there. Because that's what happened. They started getting belligerent, and I flashed the security guard at the double doors. He comes over to help. Then as he gets there, she throws the drink, and I'm wiping the drink out my eye, but I'm still trying to escort him out. Still didn't make any physical contact yet. Now, as I believe the other security guard starts to intervene, I don't know if it was him or the guy in the white shirt that hit me first. But once I cleared the alcohol from my eyes, I grabbed whomever wrist that was in front of me and pushed him towards the door. No, because I'm not trying to get hit no more. I don't want to be hit anymore. No one wants to be hit. So I grab him. I'm walking towards it. He slips, but as he slipped, I let him go because I don't want to. You know, I don't know what can happen. I don't want to fall with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to pull me down with him. He falls. Now another guy in a white T-shirt comes clean across my chin, hits me in my chin. So now I'm like dazed, kind of looking around, trying to figure out where everything was going on. I grab the guy that hits me. I look back. The other security guards are looking to pick the guy up that had fell off the floor. So now we get them all out to the sidewalk. And I think it was the guy that was on the floor reaches over one of the security guards and pulls my shirt. But while he's pulling, he's trying to also hit me too. So I'm like weaving punches while my shirt's being pulled and tugged on. This is at the door moving outside. All the managers intervened. They said, "Hey, Terrell, go back inside." Matter of fact, no, I'm lying. Wayne said go in the alleyway because we were closing. It was closing time. Wayne had me go sit in the alleyway. The cops came, asked me a couple of questions, said, "Do I want to press charges?" I said, "No, I'm fine. It's no big deal. It happens. It's part of, you know what I'm saying? It's part of the gig, you know?" And that was it. I still parted ways with the patron, and that was it.
Okay. So you explained to the officers on scene what had happened to you, and presumably they saw your shirt ripped and saw that you had been hit, etc.
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then did you cooperate with the police at that time?
100%. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. The board may have some questions for, I guess the last thing I did want to ask is Ms. Corapines, if you can unmute yourself. And is there video available of this incident?
Yes, we have several clips of what happened, a clip of what happened inside on the dance floor, which is a little hard to see, but you do see the scuffle and the altercation, and one of the patron, who I believe might be Mr. Atwood in the dark T-shirt, go down, and the patron who was in the white T-shirt assault Mr. Bradshaw. And then you see them walk out. The next clip we have is them walking out the door and escorting both Mr. Atwood, his girlfriend, and this gentleman in a white long sleeve t-shirt. All three of them are walking out. Mr. Bradshaw and the other security staff person walking behind them, and you see them walk away and off camera.
And can you provide that video?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Send it over to.
I will
Attorney
send it
Green.
in the usual way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yep.
And for all of you folks, the board may have some questions for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. We'll see if there are any questions, starting with Gerald and Joyce.
Thank you. I'll wait for the videos. I have no questions.
Commissioner Carmen, Commissioner Saxon.
Same for me. Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Corpines. As soon as I receive videos from you, I will make sure they're shared with the board, and with that, the board will take this under advisement as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling item number 6, the Boston Leco Corp. located at 71 to 79 Warrenton Street. Date of the incident, August 25th, 2024. Assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. And assault and battery, patron on employee in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? Oh, thank you. I do see you on the screen, but you're currently muted. Oh. Nope. Try again. You're still on mute. Something should have popped up on your screen. I've just asked you to unmute. You had unmuted for a moment and then remuted yourself. Let's try one more time. Okay, there also is a phone-in option. You may want to try that. In the meantime, we'll move on to the next item and come back to this while you figure out how to connect to us. Calling item number 7, Boston Harbor Cruises LLC, doing business as The Landing, located at 6 Long Wharf. Date of the incident, July 4th, 2024. Service of more than 2 alcoholic drinks to 1 patron at a time in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning, Secretary Green, Chairman Joyce, Commissioners Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty, Miller, and Hanley, representing the licensee. I'm joined by Bob Lawler, the manager of record, and Mike Iapika.
Thank you. I see Mr. Lawler. I do not see Mr. Iapika. I see him in the... Oh, there we go.
There he is.
There you go. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you for being with us. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher.
Great. Thank you very much. Sergeant Detective, are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning?
Detective Hernandez.
Thank you. I don't see Detective Hernandez. I see him, just not on camera. Okay. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, if you can please proceed with the police report for the board.
On Thursday, July 4th, 2024, Lieutenant Detective Adrian Troy, Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the BPD Licensed Premise Unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of The Landing. As detectives were standing near the bar area, detectives observed one of the bartenders provide a bucket of 6 beers to one customer. The customer walked away into the crowd and appeared to bring the drinks to a table. Detectives then observed another patron walk away from the bar with 3 mixed drinks and then come back to retrieve 2 more mixed drinks. Detectives brought this to the attention of the person in charge, Mr. Carlos Flores. Mr. Flores stated that he would remind his staff that they cannot serve more than 2 drinks to one customer at a time. It should be noted that Mr. Flores stated that they did not have any service to bring drinks to the tables on that day. As a result, what detectives had observed, Sergeant Gallagher issued license premise inspection notice number 021083 to service of more than 2 drinks to one person at a time. This was prohibited practice in violation of Mass General Laws 204 CMR 4 Section B. Mr. Flores signed for and accepted the notice. Those are the facts.
Thank you. Attorney Miller, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Thank you, Secretary Green. Sergeant Detective, was Mr. Flores and the rest of the staff cooperative with you during your time on the premise?
Yes, sir, they always are.
Thank you. To address the issue at hand, just for a little bit of background, the staffing at the premise, as Mr. Flores stated, they do not have servers there. They have security staff covering the entrance and exit of the space, as well as monitoring the perimeter. They have bartenders, barbacks, food runners, and managers all on premise at that time, but they don't have servers because of the size of the space. At the time of this visit by BPD and to the premise, the security measures and service policies in place. They had security at the front at the entrance. Their purpose is to both provide security, but also to check IDs and check individuals coming in for level of intoxication. At all times when somebody's entering the premise, anyone over the age of 21 receives either a stamp or a wristband. After 6 p.m., the premise becomes 21 plus only. Security staff, as I said, monitors the space, the perimeter, to make sure that no alcohol is coming in or out, and that no patrons who have not been checked or assessed are coming in. The service policy, all alcoholic drinks and non-alcoholic drinks are provided in separate containers, different colors. So the alcoholic drinks come in a colored container and non-alcoholic in a clear. More specifically, to address the issue here, when someone ordered at the time an item at the bar, the bartenders would assess those individuals for both age and sobriety. If someone ordered something intended for multiple individuals, like a bucket of beer or multiple drinks beyond the 2 per person allowed, the bartenders at that time would identify a table where those people were to confirm that they had enough people at the table to support the drinks ordered. As it was brought to their attention on that day, that's not enough. They've since modified their policies to come in compliance. The bartenders will still continue to assess each individual when they order alcoholic beverages, whether it is 1 drink for them or multiple drinks for multiple people. If a customer orders a product intended for multiple people or more than 2 drinks per person, a barback or food runner will now deliver those, or now does deliver those drinks. This policy was implemented after BPD's visit and this licensed premise inspection. When that food runner or barback delivers the drinks to the table, they make sure that they're not providing more than 2 drinks per person, so that multiple people haven't gone up to the bar and done this. They're confirming that they're staying in compliance. They will also assess each person at the table for age and sobriety at the time. If they have a question on either, they won't provide the alcohol until it's either confirmed or they'll refuse to provide it. All staff who are involved in the sale and service of alcohol have received the same training on assessing individuals' ability to purchase, whether it's age, sobriety, fitness. They have always trained the bartenders, barbacks, and managers. This training is now being extended to the food runners and other staff who may be delivering alcoholic drinks to the tables. As described, once this issue was brought to our attention, we have taken the steps to update our policies and procedures to come in compliance. Our staff understands these updates, and we're continuing to work with them on an ongoing basis to ensure that we are in compliance now with the rules and regulations, all the board's rules and the ABCC's rules going forward, so that an incident like this doesn't happen again. Thank you for your time, and are happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. We'll see if there are any questions, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
I don't have any questions, thanks.
I do not as well.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you, and the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll return to see if anybody from Boston Leco Corp is able to connect with us.
How you doing?
There we go. Thank you very much.
All
Back
right.
into the
Sorry
record.
about the technical difficulty.
No worries.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. This is now, we're returning back to item number 6, the Boston Leco Corp. located at 71 to 79 Warrington Street. Date of the incident, August 25th, 2024. Assault and battery employee on patron. Violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. And assault and battery patron on employee in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? If you could please identify yourself for the board.
My name's Terrence E. Gathers, Manager and Director of Security.
Thank you, Mr. Gathers. And was there somebody else with you who's also going to testify?
Yeah, also Jeff Delpidio, manager also.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Gathers. Thank you, Mr. Delpidio, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department.
Sergeant Jeff King, District 1.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand? Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Yes, I do.
Thank you, Sergeant King. If you could please read the police report into the record for the board.
Okay, this is incident number 242072017. About 0206 hours, Officer Shelley and Genius responded to a call for a person down at 79 Warrington Street, Boston. While on assignment at the corner of Stewart Street and Warrington Street, officers responded to a call for a person down at the above location. Upon arrival, officers observed what appeared to be an unknown male laying on the street with what appeared to be blood coming from the back of his head. The male was later identified as Newman, Zachary, victim, date of birth 9/5/1990. Officers were met by Boston EMS, who officers assisted in lifting the victim onto a stretcher and into the rear of ambulance A4. Officers were approached by the caller, one Terrence Gathers, suspect who stated the victim, Newman, Zachary, while standing between two parked cars at the above location, was seen urinating. Gathers stated he was the manager of Legacy Nightclub at the above location, and upon witnessing the victim, Newman, urinating, took out his cell phone and took a picture of the victim as to keep a record of him to ensure he was not allowed back in the establishment. Upon photographing the victim, Gathers stated that the victim charged at him, waving his arms, yelling and screaming. Gathers stated upon fearing for his safety, attempted to defend himself. Gathers stated with an open hand, he slapped the victim in the face, and upon doing so, the victim fell backward onto the ground, striking his head on the ground. Upon seeing the victim fall, Gathers stated blood began to seep out of the victim's head. Upon seeing this, Gathers stated he called 911. Boston EMS A4 unit transported victims to Tufts Medical Center for further evaluation. Officers received the information from Gathers and followed Boston EMS to Tufts Medical Center. Upon arrival, officers spoke to nurses who stated the victim will undergo testing and treatment, but exhibited non-life-threatening injuries. Alpha 915 Sergeant King conducted a licensed premise check of the establishment Legacy at 79 Warrington Street. And then a supplemental report about 2:31 a.m. on Sunday, August 25th, 2024. Sergeant King, as the Alpha 915 unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection relative to the above incident. Sergeant King issued licensed premise violation number 01779 to the Legacy Nightclub at 79 Warrington Street for assault patron on employee and assault and battery employee on patron. Manager Terrence Gathers was served the notice in hand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gathers. Mr. Delpidio, would you like to address the alleged incident?
It's basically exactly what the report said. We went when we saw the man exposing himself. He came out of the club. He walked out fine, no incident. And just, Warrington Street, where we're located, it's a very small street. It's a one-way street. He walked in between the two cars, turned around and exposed himself and started urinating. We asked him to stop. We literally would have let him back in to go to the bathroom, but he got angry. And so I'm like, all right, you know what? I won't say nothing else to him. I'll just take a picture and, for trespassing purposes, that way we know we don't have to let him in again. But he was swearing and he started threatening me. Then he charged at me. The guy's, I'm 155 pounds. The guy was like, he outweighed me by 100 pounds. So didn't have a opportunity to retreat, so I reacted. We made contact. Once that happened, I administered first aid and called 911 and for ambulance and the police. I also later got contacted by Detective Brian Hurl, who called me up and wanted video. So that night I had got all the video together and I had gave it to Detective Hurl when he did contact me. And he I met him here. I drove from home and then met him here because he called my cell phone. After that, I asked him, he said he actually had, better video that he had witnessed from the police camera. And he said if the board wanted to ask him any questions, they can contact him.
Thank you. Anything further before we move to questions? Okay. Chairwoman Joyce, do you have any questions for the licensee or for Sergeant King?
I'd like to see the video from the licensed premise, and if we have the other video, great. But no questions.
Thank you. Mr. Gathers, can you send us that video?
Yep, I'll get it copied and send it. I gave a copy to the other detective, but I will also copy it and give it to you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner
You're
Carr,
welcome.
Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
Maybe since we don't have the video, if anyone from BPD can kind of comment on the further investigation, whether it corroborated what was said here. Maybe Lieutenant Detective Troy, yeah?
Yes, Lieutenant Detective Troy, and just reading from the detective's notes here, and the final note, the notes are kind of brief, but it says he talked to the victim and he didn't want to pursue the matter criminally, so the detective closed the case. And he had made several attempts to call the victim, but it does say here that he requested the Genetec video, which is the city and Homeland Security cameras. It doesn't, there's the video or none of the establishment's videos are attached to his case notes here, so I don't have access to them. So I will have to contact the detective himself and see if I can request videos. On occasion, the videos are too big to attach into this case notes, but so I'll ask him if I can get a drive from his videos.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll wait for the videos.
Thank you. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, is there something you wanted to add?
Yeah, sir, I can pick up the video if that's the case. We're constantly out in that area in the theater district, and I have observed the video. I know I've been sworn, but the video pretty much dictates exactly what Mr. Gathers has stated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gathers, please send whatever video you do have. That can be sent to licensingboard@boston.gov. I'll make sure that's shared with the commissioners and Lieutenant Troy or Sergeant Detective Gallagher. If you could forward any videos you may have as well.
Will do.
Thank you very much. The board will take this under advisement.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Calling item number 8, Shisha Lounge LLC, located at 417 Cambridge Street in Alston. Date of the incident, July 29th, 2024. Alcohol on premise patio without an alcohol license in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9. Patio not on common victualler license in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9. And the smoking permit having expired. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Here, Mark Burke, owner and operator.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Is there anybody else with you on behalf of Shisha Lounge or just you today?
Just me.
Thank you. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
I am Detective Hernandez.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with first-hand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, if need be.
Thank you. Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Detective Hernandez, if you could please read the police report into the record for the board.
Good morning, sir. I'm going to brief some police report, which I wrote on Monday, July 29, 2024. Sergeant Detective William Gallagher and Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the BPD License Premise Unit, responded to the Shisha Lounge regarding a complaint. The complaint stated that multiple patrons were seen leaving the establishment after 3:30 a.m. and then again at 5 a.m. While walking through the establishment, they observed a rear door leading to an outside patio. detectives observed that the patio to contain beach benches, a table with an umbrella, a hookah, and an open cooler. The open cooler contained melted ice bags and an almost empty bottle of vodka and one full can of beer. Upon reviewing the licenses and permits of the establishment, detectives observed that the current common victuals license did not provide for the establishment's outside patio or alcohol. Detectives also observed that the establishment smoking permit 3518 had expired on 6/30/2024. Detectives brought this to the attention of the person in charge, Mr. Jonas Mogus. As a result of what detectives observed, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued a license premise inspection notice 021994 for a patio not listed on the common victuals license, alcohol on premise without having an alcohol license and an expired smoking permit. Mr. Mogus signed for and accepted the notice. That's all. There are some pictures here of the alcohol that was in the cooler, and the picture of what was the furniture and others on the outside patio. That's all.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burke, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yeah, firstly, I refute all 3 violations, and I can get into that. But the detective mentioned complaints about people leaving the business. When were those complaints made? Because when you showed up on the 29th, that was at 11:30 in the evening. So I'm just a little confused on that part of your report. Could we start there?
Sure, I might be able to address that. We were in District 14's station. I was talking to the lieutenant on the desk. He informed me that it occurred the night or 2 before that weekend, that the officers had observed people coming out at those 2 times. They did not engage or talk to them. They just passed it on to the licensing authorities, which are us. And we went down there to talk to the staff, basically just ask them what was going on with that. We didn't cite them. We just wanted to question them on that. And then we found all the other stuff.
No, appreciate it. Okay, well, we could dive into the refutation. And first of all, good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Mark Burke, owner operator Shisha Lounge. Let's get started with these violations. So violation 1, smoking permit expired. This is basically miscommunication. My employee Yoni, who was born in Northeast Africa, English isn't his first language, tried to explain to detectives that the smoking license is active, it's in the renewal process, and we're waiting to receive it by mail. I've got a check that was deposited, was cashed on the 15th of July, and we subsequently got the permit in the mail, so it was basically in process. So we received the renewed permit, which is here and now posted in Shisha Lounge, I mean, days after the violation report. So conclusion on that, from where, is no violation occurred. When I got the renewal packet, I filled it out, submitted it with the check. We just didn't have it receipt from the mail yet to post it on the board. So that addresses that. Okay, patio. It's the second violation, the second violation that I'd like to refute. Okay, so I think there's a factual inaccuracy here. Shisha Lounge does not have a patio. Okay, we haven't applied for one. We're not interested in one. We don't operate one. The items in the area are not evidence of an active patio. I mean, I was just there Sunday morning and took a picture. I mean, the use of the space is transitional space for maintenance tasks. Inventory is broken down and trash is organized. The benches that you mentioned, these are essentially, there's a wire mesh. Due to the rat infestation, we place trash on these benches. Again, employees only are permitted back there. I've got signs on the door to that effect that the detectives, I'm sure, seen when they went back there, that support that. Let's see. Again, use of the space is accessible to, there's accessible from Lulu's, the Lulu side. It's unsecured. Trash can accumulate from various sources. And it's just not fit for customer use. And we wouldn't serve or operate that as a patio for customers. We wouldn't violate our CV license. in that way. So again, I think this violation is unfounded. There wasn't anybody observed back there. There were no customers back there. In fact, when the detectives came on site on the 29th, Yoni, the employee, was outside the business, I think, at the time, and the detectives were very friendly and nice. You know, they just were interviewing him, asking him some questions. They asked about some incident unrelated to Shisha Lounge up the street, and wanted to get some input on that. They then wanted to see the licensing on the board, you know, where we have the CD license and all of that. And that's when they saw the expired license. Then they went into the back, and I did review look at the photo that was submitted by the detective. And again, that's a makeshift table, an umbrella. These were things that, you know, were not purchased by Shisha Lounge. It's just transitional trash maybe that was placed there. Because again, it's that gate isn't secured. So we don't have a secured space back there. You know, somebody could walk in and literally, you know, from the Lulu side. So I don't know. I hope I'm clear on that. You know, and again, I'm happy to take questions, you know, after I go through these. Violation 3, alcohol on the premises. Okay. Detectives then took a photo of a cooler. Shisha Lounge doesn't own the cooler. I've got a signed letter from Lulu's, our neighbor, that states that they own that cooler. Okay. So that cooler wasn't Shisha Lounge's. I don't know if that's something you guys want me to read right now, or I somehow submit some of these things that I have for the matter of record, but I've got a signed statement from the manager. Essentially, the cooler was placed temporarily at the rear of Shisha Lounge, with whom we share common space, while we pressure washed our back area. We have no relationship with alcohol. We want nothing to do with alcohol. All we do, coffees, teas, hookahs, that's it. And we just try to manage, there's the flow of customers, whether it be during the day and then in the evening. Obviously, the customer base changes a bit, and we have to pivot accordingly, just be more vigilant, yeah, so that's the issue with the cooler. Again, another note on alcohol. When the detectives found this cooler, took photos of the items inside, they then went into Shisha Lounge and started looking through the refrigerators and looked throughout the premises and found no evidence about any alcohol. There were no, and my employee wasn't intoxicated. There was no alcohol inside the business. And a last note on the alcohol situation, the general area gets a lot of litter. I mean, if any of you go and walk around the block, you're going to see empty bottles or sometimes half-filled bottles. I mean, I live in an urban area. When I leave my apartment, sometimes there's beer right in front of the building. We pick this trash up. I mean, we're consistently picking up trash and litter out and around the business, and we're bagging it and sorting it and disposing of it. Now, when I opened this business 15 years ago, we had a dedicated dumpster and we had a parking spot behind our business, and we've got a great neighbor in Lulu's, and they built an entire patio. I mean, I was just on their website looking at a couple of photos, and it's a beautiful patio. But if you look, our area, our business behind the patio is literally, it's just a maintenance area. And we need to walk through this area to dump some of our trash. So basically, I think this is just some circumstantial, it's no evidence of, a patio or alcohol being served or sold on premises. It's something that I would never want to go, to violate. And I'll tell you something else. All my employees have, they know this clearly, they've signed statements, they know it's grounds for immediate termination, and they all love their jobs. So, I mean, I think, law enforcement does a great job, and, we commend you. If there's any feedback you'd like to provide to me to make things, as far as, I know something that was discussed with Yoni was something regarding cameras, and I've heard that today in some of these, some of these cases that were brought up. If I need to invest in better camera system, so that we could prove this, we're open to that. But right now we've got an antiquated camera system, and it's it's something I could budget. But I mean, I'm open to the feedback. But I that's where I stand on these things.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. And for the record, you can submit that letter or anything else you would like to draw the board's attention to licensing board, all one word, licensingboard@boston.gov. And we'll make sure that that is shared with the commissioners ahead of Thursday's vote.
Licensing board. You said licensing board, sorry.
Licensing board at boston.gov.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll submit all this stuff. Absolutely.
Thank you. Please do. And with that, we'll move to questions. Chairwoman Joyce, any questions?
Thank you. So thanks for joining us today. I don't believe you've ever appeared before us before, so this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for us to understand your operations and for you to ask us any questions should there be issues that arise. So you weren't there that night, right?
Right. I wasn't there that night.
So this patio you're talking about that is ancillary space, it's not used as a patio. I think it's very important for you then to make sure your employees don't have access to it.
Okay. Here's the challenge there. In order to remove trash from, our day-to-day operations or to find litter, and in fact, I'll submit also, now that we're bringing this up.
Well, someone has access to it because there is an umbrella, there was a hookah out there, you are a hookah bar. Somebody has access to it without permission. So
employees. Oh yeah, employees only. So through the back door, employees will go there to break down trash coming from the back with inventory. I mean,
okay, it looks more like in the pictures that were shared, more than ancillary space to break down trash. There's a fully functioning table and patio, umbrella, a hookah, and it looks like remnants of somebody having alcohol out there. That being said, the fact that is happening and it looks like it's being used more as more than just breaking down trash and recycling, it might be something you want to take a look at. If the place next door has access there, you need to talk to them because at the end of the day, you're responsible to make sure that those things aren't happening in that space.
No, absolutely. I totally get that. I mean, it's just, like I said, there was, I welcome the board to come and inspect, and see the space. I think that particular picture, like I said, I could submit the pictures that I've got too that, but I agree with you. I mean, I'll perhaps have a lock installed on that access point.
You don't necessarily want a lock because people need to have
like a one-way exit egress. Yeah, one of those.
We're trying to learn from you what happened. We're trying to explain to you the rules and regulations. So there is an issue, the fact that somebody has access to it and somebody had alcohol out there. There was a hookah out there, your hookah bar. So people are going and coming from that area.
May I just interject something regarding the alcohol? I mean, that essentially was trash. I mean, if you find alcoholic bottles in this is a trash deposited area. So
I'm going to ask Detective Hernandez to respond to that because he was there that night and you weren't. So I'm just curious what's the team's feeling.
Mr. Burke, you weren't there that weekend, were you at all? Were you there at all that whole weekend?
Not in the, I was there in the day. Yeah,
but you weren't there at night, correct, sir?
Not in the evening.
Were you there in the evenings when you close?
Early morning, I go in. And this is what I find, sir. Outside of the business, there's trash. There's empty.
That wasn't trash, Mr. Burke.
There's bottles.
That wasn't trash, Mr. Burke.
But how can you establish that as fact?
I'm just saying it did not appear to be trash. It appeared to be like a bottle with ice that had just been melted out of the bag.
Let's assume you're right. I mean, I've got a signed letter.
Correct, sir?
Let's just look at the
You can't
facts.
say it wasn't
if there's
your employees having a party, sir.
What I'm saying is, I've got a signed statement that the cooler isn't ours. That's number one.
Well, that's
okay,
great.
and
The
then
cooler's
number-
not yours, but it's on your patio, sir.
That's not a patio. That
It
is a
is your patio,
transitional
sir.
space.
Sir,
That
it's
is
your
a
patio.
transitional space. I do not have a patio that isn't a patio. Okay,
Okay, sir.
that's a place where we break down trash, and that's it.
Okay.
If I find a bunch of trash in front of the business, empty bottles, bottles of wine, you have to cut through the business, deposit it in the back, and then take it through Lulu's to put in a dumpster. That's the
Again,
layout.
we're here to try to help you improve the way you operate your business. I'm
Oh,
not,
fair
so I'm
enough.
not passing judgment here on what's been going on, but oftentimes managers may not know what is going on with their employees. So I'm just suggesting the fact that maybe you want to talk to your staff again and reinforce to them that they're not allowed to bring coolers with drinks. Should it have been them, or maybe they allow someone else there. I'm just saying, we're trying to work with you when this is not supposed to be, you know, you
I
defend,
get you.
you know, every thing that we're telling you that the licensed premise unit stated happened. So you weren't there that night, so Detective Hernandez was. I would suggest you talk to people that were there that night.
But wait, he wasn't there the night of the alleged incident.
No,
I
sir.
mean, he
but
was
other
there.
poli- Other police
You were there
officers,
the day.
Sir, other police officers saw what was going on there, and that's why they came to us in regards to that. So yes, other police officers did see people coming out of your establishment at those hours.
No, I just wish
That's
there
why
was
we
something.
came. That's coming out of your
Okay.
business. I don't know what you want me to tell you. That's what police officers saw and reported to us.
Oh, I mean, were they employees?
Were you there,
they
sir? Were you
me?
there at 3 a.m?
No, but what time?
Were you there at 5
Well,
a.m?
5 a.m. Sometimes I go there 5
No, you weren't there though that weekend, right?
But I mean, I don't recall. I do
okay.
not recall that weekend.
Okay.
But
Maybe
I
you
mean,
should-
but my question is, there wasn't engagement. So I wish that there was somehow we could have,
So do I.
you
So
know,
do I.
built a, sorry?
I wish they had engaged your.
Well,
your
right. So, I mean, you know,
patrons coming out of your staff.
Well, if it was an employee coming out, it'd be good to address that, right? And if
Yeah,
there was
I
an
agree.
employee coming out at that time and what the
Or if it was
conditions were.
patrons, that too. Yeah,
So-
I agree, sir.
No,
agree.
we don't, no. We close at 2 a.m., sir. I mean, you know, and I want to learn from this and also be able to, you know, get feedback from you. I think, you know, was my employee Yoni, was he, you know, what, was he helpful when you were on site?
Very well. Yeah.
Okay,
That's a good point. Thank you. That we had cooperation from the staff.
that's great.
With that, I'm going to move on to Commissioner Saxon and Commissioner Carn. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, this area, outside, who has legal control over it? Is it part of your lease space? You lease, right?
Yeah, I've got a lease with the landlord. That's right.
That area included in your lease?
Basically, that's a good question, and that's something that it's really once Lulu's, and you can pull up the site plan when they put the patio in, basically built everything, and my space was basically absorbed into it, and there's access into the immediate rear of my business from the Lulu's side. So it like the letter I have from Lulu's about the cooler, you know, they just put the cooler there. Now, when you're in work mode, you don't consciously notice these things. And like I said, I've found litter in the front of the business, and I've transported to the back and left it there. Some of it being, you know, what contraband or what have you, like just items, just empty bottles and whatnot, just trash. And yeah, so it's sort of a transitional, strange sort of space. So basically, we're not, to answer your question, we don't really govern the space. It's sort of our boxed in little area because we need to move through their space to remove trash and whatnot. Now, I definitely am going to look at my internal controls regarding what the detectives say. So I'm not, but I guess what I'd like to keep an open mind on this topic, instead, considering that, there is a circumstantial element and there was no engagement. But again, regarding that space in the back, if you saw it or we all came on site today, it wouldn't be something where you'd say, yeah, this is the patio. This is suitable for for people to, and I mean, like I said, if you go on their website,
All right,
I mean,
just give me a second
yeah.
here.
Okay.
I can take your testimony today that it's not a patio, but you have to admit it's ripe for confusion. It looks like a patio.
The photo that,
and it's barely separated from another area that is most definitely a patio, right?
If you look at that photo, you could draw a conclusion that
Okay, all right. So you have to admit that it's ripe for confusion.
you can look at that photo, but that's why I'm here to clarify.
I'm not saying it is a patio.
Okay, fair
You
enough.
told me about the patio, and I can accept that.
Let me ask you this, sir. Let's assume that, okay, you could sit at that chair. There's an umbrella. Let's just assume all of that's correct, even though the umbrella may not be operational, even though I could toss all that stuff right now. The point is, isn't it feasible that an employee could sit there and make a phone call? Or the point is, it's a dedicated non-customer space, right?
That you're making my case for me, which is that is an area under your control, so you're responsible for it.
Well, I definitely have an influence on it, but it's not that's for sure. Yeah, I agree with that statement.
It's not. If it's not your area, you should, like the chair said, your employee shouldn't be out there because it's not your area.
Well, I mean,
So
when I signed the lease 15 years ago, 15 years ago? Well, yes, we have an influence over. It's essentially just a place where,
okay, then you would be responsible for alcohol being there, whoever put it there or not.
Yeah, but empty. Okay, fair enough.
You're here.
So let me ask you this: so any type of trash taken in, empties or whatnot, that have nothing to do with
trash. It's alcohol, very specific type of trash. If it
that's what I'm saying. Well, okay, so if trash is taken from the street, like that isn't our
it's not trash, it's alcohol.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Who's
table?
Sir, you need to let the commissioner speak.
Can I?
Whose
Okay.
table and umbrella is it?
That's something that it could have been just trash that has been placed there. This door to this area, okay, like it says in the letter, a cooler was just placed there from next door. It could have been temporal. It could have been theirs. We don't know. It wasn't something Shisha Lounge purchased or set up. It's not for customer use. I think if something was, say, thrown street side and an employee placed it there, I mean, and thinking that they could, sit there in the space. I mean, it is boxed in, but when I originally signed the lease, like we didn't invest in the fencing and the pad, any of that. It's just a boxed area where we've just used it for bringing in supplies, breaking down things. I'll do whatever it is that y'all tell me you want me to do, just so we could, because it's not a patio, all that furniture can be thrown out. Those benches that, I'll have wire mesh to prevent the rats from, eating into the trash bags. I mean, if you're saying we need to walk around the building to dispose of the trash instead of holding it there and then moving it, I'll comply with what you'd like to do, but I'm just trying to communicate to you without, coming off as, just
belligerent. You're a little belligerent.
Well, I'm frustrated, but yeah, okay, belligerent, because I'm frustrated because the streets have a lot of trash in the front of the business. And I've honestly just picked these things up a number of times, these empties, and then I just put them in the back. But I understand now that I can't be doing that. So I understand. Yes.
I think your focus on trash is misplaced.
Okay.
All right. We're here for alcohol on premise, all right? Alcohol is a highly regulated industry. The fact that it was alcohol is really the only thing we're concerned with, not whether it was trash or not, whether it was placed there by someone else or not. The relevant inquiries are whether there was alcohol there and whether it was in a space under your control.
Fair enough. I mean, I personally think that what I control is inside the business. There was nothing inside the business. There's so much sort of collateral things going around outside of the business. Now, in the rear of the business, if that door to Lulu's was secured, I would agree, and I would explain myself accordingly to it. That's you know, if you're telling me that we never want to see any type, so I mean, this meeting's enlightened me then, because like I said, I've literally picked stuff out of the front of the business, walked it back there, set it down, and
Okay,
know,
but
when you
that's
say
not what's
my
going
control-
on here. This was cooler with melted ice. But that being said, we're
Okay.
actually, this is actually a hearing to try to get the facts out here.
Yeah.
We're trying to actually help you. Commissioner Saxon asked a very simple question about whose umbrella that was, and we can't get a simple answer from you. So I'm gonna suggest that if anything else you want to submit to us, you do so in writing. But Commissioner Curran made a very good point. This is a highly regulated industry. The fact that there is alcohol on your premise and it wasn't under your control or you weren't aware of it, that's a fact. That's something we're taking into consideration. You could very well say, as manager, I was not aware. I mean, that could be your defense, but you're not even doing that. You're challenging photographs, you're challenging, you know, access to this place and who's responsible. At the end of the day, you're responsible. So I suggest you think about that and submit anything else you want to submit to us in writing. We're actually here trying to help you. I have nothing else to say. I don't know if the other commissioners do. I feel like we've spent too much time on this already.
I appreciate it.
Saxon, anything? Great.
Sorry?
The board will take this matter under advisement. Mr. Burke, please submit anything that you would like the board to consider to licensingboard@boston.gov. The record will stay open until 5 o'clock tomorrow. The board will vote Thursday morning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Calling item number 9, Chipotle Mexican Grill of Colorado LLC, doing business as Chipotle Mexican Grill, located at 1924 Beacon Street in Brighton. Date of the incident, September 21st, 2024. No common victualler license posted in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9. Expired inspectional services permit posted in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9. And patrons drinking alcohol on premise in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 9. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Julie Gibson, field leader who oversees the restaurant, and Ryan George, who oversees our licensing department.
Great. And sorry, did you say your last name is Gibson?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Gibson. Mr. George, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand?
Detective Hernandez is needed.
Thank you, Detective. Mr. George, I know you're on the phone, but if you're planning on providing testimony, can you provide your right hand, please?
Just for the, I'm sorry, just for the 2 violations of the licenses, not the alcohol. But I'll go to right.
Thank you. Sorry, your right hand, please, sir. Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you very much. Sergeant Detective Gallagher, if you could please report into the record for the board.
Yes, morning, Sergeant Detective William Gallagher from Boston Police Department. I'll be reading from a Boston Police report that I wrote. A little backdrop. This inspection was before the Boston College Michigan State game. On 9/21/2024 at 6:44 p.m., Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned licensed premise unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of Chipotle Mexican restaurant at 1924 Beacon Street. Inside the restaurant, detectives made observations of 2 males sitting at a table drinking beer from red Solo cups. Detectives observed a 3rd male with a brown bag containing beer with them that left quickly as detectives approached. The 2 males were identified as Brian Saxton, 9/15/91 of Beverly, and Zachary Gardner, 9/8/92 of Charlestown. Both males were shown to the manager and escorted off the property. Detectives also failed to observe a common victual license or a current ISD permit. One up there expired back on January 23rd of 24. These permitting issues were also brought to the manager's attention. As well, we observed Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued license premise inspection notice number 020640 Chipotle Mexican for no common vic posted, expired ISD, patrons drinking alcohol on premise. The manager, Miss Andrea Cardona, signed for and accepted the notice. Those are the facts.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gibson. Mr. George, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yeah, Ryan, you can go first for the licensing and.
Okay. So with the licensing, we were actually unaware because we made the payments and renew application, sent that in, and everything was good on our part that we thought. We just didn't realize that we didn't have not scheduled the inspection for that. And that is why the license were not posted. So we have been in contact with someone from the inspection department to getting everything in order to get those license inspection out and completed, and I'm in contact with our facility manager and assistant facility manager to get the needed documents they need to come out and do that inspection. And it was our fault that we didn't have that inspection scheduled. We just were unaware we didn't have to schedule that after we made the payments and everything. And I did confirm that, and the inspector did as well, that all the payments were received. So we're current with the payments. We just have to get that inspection out. And once that's completed, we can get those licensed. And then once again, we'll have to renew the license for this upcoming year again.
Thank you for that. Ms. Gibson?
Yeah, and so in regards to the alcohol on premise, I spoke to the general manager who did come as immediately as afterwards to follow up on the licensing. But I spoke to her and Andrea, who is the manager on duty. They were drinking it in an area where you can't necessarily see it from the line that we make the food from. There's a little area that doesn't quite get like eyesight. However, we talked about walking through the dining room every 30 minutes. I also did purchase some signs in the meantime until we find Chipotle approved signage that says no alcohol consumption on property. We haven't had this issue before, but again, we are right next to the college as well as the liquor store is right next door to us. So we will do what we can to ensure that no one is, well, we're going to do what we can to ensure no one is drinking on the premises.
Thank you very much. I will see if there are any questions following that testimony. Chairman Joyce, any questions?
Thank you for your testimony. I have no questions.
Commissioner Kern or Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
Maybe just more in the way of comment, just as the sergeant said, it was during, big game. So maybe you need to take note of when, big events are happening. It might be a time to be more vigilant. That's all. Thanks.
100%. Agreed. We discussed that.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner Saxon.
Go ahead, let Julie answer. Yeah.
Thank you very much. If there are no further questions from the board, then the board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And item number 10 has been continued to the next available hearing date as a scheduling request for licensees council. Those are all of the items before the board this morning that will adjourn this hearing. The board is scheduled to vote on these items on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Notice has been posted to the city's website. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.